Rachel Easton, the Education Director for Harbor Wild Watch, and we've got a great low tide and I get to explore a new beach today. So I hope that you're able to hang around. I'll flip this around so you can see where we are. We are along the Tacoma waterfront. That is Harbor Lights and the Ram restaurant over there. This is Dickman Mill, the remains of an old logging mill. And you can even see in the distance some cool sculptural elements that they've put in to try to tell the story of this place. And of course, there's all the wood debris and remnants of things that wash up along the shore. I'm here with my friend, his name's Casey, but I call him Chauncey. He's back in town from many years away. We've known each other like 20 years.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm old. Okay, but immediately, I'm glad that you viewers don't have smell vision on TikTok, because we have just the siltiest sand here and it's really dark and black, which means it's filled with anaerobic bacteria. And this is the kind of low tide smell that everybody is talks about, like, oh, the tide is out, it's so stinky at the beach. It's totally natural and normal, and actually this bacteria does a really great job of processing nutrients. It just stinks like sewage. Lots of old pilings and logs here. Those are good places for animals to hide. And I'm just interested in what's happening down here with the tide. This is a very different beach from where we were yesterday out at Sunrise Beach. This is a very industrial place, and it's had, the imprint of humans on it for a very long time. So we'll see some interesting things. Ooh, I've already seen some evidence of animals. This is a plate of a giant barnacle. So we might see some giant barnacles out here. In fact, I see a few already. Some thatched and giant barnacles on these pilings. So barnacles are crustaceans. They're related to crabs and shrimp. And so here's my finger for some scale. And this animal you can see is moving within. It's got those plates, and they will kick out their feet to eat. Other things on the pilings, there's some really small acorn barnacles, these thatched barnacles, which have kind of like a straw-like area to them. There's some limpets, these little tiny snails that have a single shell instead of a spiraled shell. It kind of looks like a volcano. Ooh, a tire. Tires actually are quite useful for animals because they create kind of an artificial tide pool. So yeah, we've got some life here. I can see a chitin. Sorry, I try to block using my body. There's this 8-plated mollusk here. And then there's even a pile of chitins up there. Chitins don't go very far. And of course it's windy and now I can't see anything in the water. Yeah, this is a particularly low tide, so the pilings are totally exposed. Oh, here, this is cool. This is a butterclam shell, but notice all the little dots all over it? Those are barnacle larvae. So we saw the big barnacles, and this is how their little larvae settle out. And they'll cover anything, and they prefer to land on hard structures like shells or pilings, but you can see all those little babies. Some of them will turn into barnacles. Others will just get broken up and be killed. If you want to post in the comments where you're watching from, I love to know that information, especially if you're from a different country or a different state even. Ooh, let's check it out. This is hollow piling. You can look up and look down. A lot of these pilings were treated with creosote, or like tar. Oh, hey, look. I think I found the sea star that seagull was attempting to eat. And the seagull gave up because that is way too big for a seagull. Although they're pretty tenacious, and they do, they will try to eat them. So very important species. They have gills, and on this one, the gills are the bright orange that you see. And then they have kind of a whitish skeleton that you can see sticking up through. This is in the echinoderm phylum, which means spiny skin. So this animal definitely has kind of spiny skin. honestly, you can look around and see other stuff too. If you find something cool, let me know. Got really excited. It's just some pretty algae. I mean, not that algae's not exciting. I am excited by algae. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably more excited about algae than animals sometimes. Lots of like stuff here. This is old metal pipes and cables. Probably not a good beach to be barefoot on. Not to mention because your feet would just stink from this really silty sand, but also because there's, you know, maybe some nails or staples or rebar to step on. It's kind of cool. It looks like a forest almost looking through here. Yeah, I don't know what to do about the connection. Sometimes it does this and I have full bars. I am in the middle of a city. I have strong connectivity. I don't know. Ooh, okay, there's an anemone here. So here, and there is a little amphipod right here in the danger zone. Shell gets heavy like that. You can see there's tons of plankton in the water. You see that? Just zooming all around in that sea lettuce. And the sounds are particularly interesting too here. I can hear killdeer, which is a ground nesting bird. And so there's probably a few of them along here. They have kind of a shrieking call. Oh, I see it. There's a pigeon hanging out up there. And then there are all kinds of flying birds here that I can't recognize by sound. So we're low enough now to get to the point where kelp is growing. That's the brown algae. And this is sugar kelp. And it's named that because it has the molecule of saccharin within it. Saccharin is synthesized in a laboratory, though it's not cultivated from this kelp or anything, but it supposedly does taste a little sweet. But I've never tried it. It tastes like salty to me. I mean, I've never tasted the sugarness of it. It just tastes like seawater. Ooh, okay, let's go check out this log because this is actually really cool. This log has been drifting for a while and has been infiltrated with shipworms, which are not worms at all. Each one of these little tubes that you see here is formed by a mollusk, a clam-like animal that bores into wood and creates these kind of tubes that you see here. And this is what early people who traveled by boat feared the most, is a shipworm infestation in your wooden vessel is going to cause it to sink. And I think I read somewhere that of Columbus's ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, that only one of them survived without being taken down by shipworms, which is just really cool to see. Thanks everybody for sharing the live stream. That really helps. Pushes us out to more people, and the more people who watch our videos and learn and have fun with us, the more people may be inclined to help protect the Salish Sea or the Puget Sound, which is this beautiful body of water that you can't really see because we're stuck in these pilings. But that's okay. Ooh, a little bit of slurpy mud. Now, my question is, was that crack there before you stepped there? Because if it was, there may be a moon snail. But if your stepping caused the crack, it might not be a moon snail. Let's just see. It's going to make my hands really stinky. Ooh, I found a barnacle rock. Yeah, I'm guessing that was just for me. But look how dark and black it is under here. This will actually stain shells dark like this. And it's anoxic bacteria. And it's really stinky, so I'm gonna wash my hands really quick. And see what else we can see. I'm kind of making my way over to the big cement wall over there because that should be pretty good habitat for different animals. On these pilings, we've got more of those dogwinkle snails and barnacles, of course. And the tide is really gonna go up high. I think we have about a 17-foot tidal swing between high tide and low tide today, which is a lot. So all those barnacles up on the pilings, all the way up to the very tippity top, are gonna get covered by water in a matter of hours. For now though, they have to just hang on and wait while the tide goes out. You finding anything cool? You know, you kind of really gotta look at the pilings and see, because sometimes there's really cool stuff in there. Sometimes crabs like to hide in those hollows, like their own personal apartment building. Now, I thought that might have been drilled by a moon snail, but it's just a hole. I guess it's from a bird, because it's not a round, perfectly round hole. Oh my goodness, I did not expect to see this here. There is a tiny baby green sea urchin. This little tiny thing right here. Little spiky ball. You see it? There's a little urchin right in there. So cute. I would have expected that. Maybe like significantly deeper, but it is a particularly low tide, and he's just a baby. So cute. I love seeing those creatures. Ooh, now this is interesting. These are hydroids, and I don't know why they're white like this. Are you dying? Yesterday's low tide was very low, and it's totally possible that this could be like dead animals. It could also be like a breeding adaptation. I don't know enough about hydroids to say for sure. Oh, so here I do see some moon snail evidence. So that means there are moon snails here. Round holes near the shell end of these shells is the mark of a moon snail. Okay, focus. There you go. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for a moon snail. Oh yeah, there's lots of them everywhere you look. You start to see those clam shells with holes in them. This is an interesting beach because of all the human stuff here. Like there's bricks and there's rusted metal boards. Ooh, I heard an eagle. Do you hear that? That's a bald eagle somewhere. Probably on one of those pilings that I can't see. Moon snails are not bad. They have a reputation for being bad because they eat the same food that humans like to eat. But moon snails are native. They are important. They are a predator that helps to create new habitat for larval creatures that are gonna land here. When you remove moon snails from an ecosystem, the clams don't survive as well. So they're important. So we like when we find moon snails. I really like when I find moon snails because they're one of my favorite creatures. Another log. Sometimes logs have interesting things depending on where they have drifted from. This one just looks like a lot of kelp on it. Let's go check out the rocks. This hard vertical surface, this is kind of the foundations of the old sawmill that was here. Oh, thank you for the gifts. You guys are lovely. Oh, wait, there's cool red algae I want to look at. I really like when we find the red algae. I don't know why, just because they're pretty. Can something be valuable just for aesthetics? I think it can. I don't know why, just because they're pretty. Can something be valuable just for aesthetics? I think it can. Oh, that's more killdeers. Being noisy. Finding anything? Oh yeah, dogwinkle snails. Ooh, and some worms. These little piles of shells are tube worms. Probably spaghetti tube worms would be my guess. And you can't see their spaghettiness until they're underwater. This is kind of interesting. Are you living here? Or are you just wedged here? Oh, you're just wedged here. I thought there was a clam living inside this piling, but it's just a little dead clam shell probably washed in. Ooh, here's a bunch of barnacles. These are thatched barnacles. You can kind of see their like hay-like or straw-like projections. the animals on the inside, and they can like move and react, close up when I touch them. Barnacles are filter feeders, so they're eating all kinds of plankton and things around.
Little crab hiding.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, very hard to see. Good eyes. There is a purple shore crab. Maybe I can zoom in on it. Okay, it doesn't want to let me focus. Come on, focus on the crabby. Little purple shore crab, Hemigrapsis nudus is their scientific name. Because they don't have any hairs on their legs. You see some more?
I don't know what this is.
Oh, a sea star. So this is a baby version of that orange one we saw before, the mottled sea star. There's also some chitons and worms up in here that are hard to see. Here's a mossy chiton tucked back in there. More barnacles and algae. This red, like, one cell thick algae, this is nori. It's what you eat when you eat sushi. It's just been, you know, smoked and dried before we eat it. This is that cool wall. So a lot of creatures like to be either in the sand on soft substrates, and then others like to be on hard substrates like this. So these snails are giving preference to the hard structure, and they're even laying eggs here. So these little, they call them sea oats, and they almost look like grains of rice standing on end. Those are the eggs of the dognicle snail. Oh, there's a hermit crab here. Let's see if I can bring him out to show you, because this is a hairy hermit crab, and I can tell without hardly even getting a glimpse at it. Oh, it's a hairy hermit crab and his lady friend. Because hairy hermit crabs choose a shell that is purposefully too small. And this one has in its pincher a little smaller hermit crab that is a female, and he's going to hold on to her until she molts and is receptive to being fertilized, and then she'll harden and he will crawl away and find another. So we'll just tuck them back in there together. And they choose a shell that's too small for them so they can be really fast and kind of nimble. Oh, cucumbers, cool. So right in here, you can see it from a distance. The tentacles, looks like a little pink sausage down in there. That's a sea cucumber, Cucumbarium miniata, and I can tell that this one doesn't get much sunlight because see how pale it is. There's also another baby sea star right back there. When these animals are in the sun more, they get like a tan, and they're kind of a deep maroon to orange on their body. Chitin right here. There's lots of tiny things. I'll step on things at the same time, but I'll do my best. And if you want to post where you're watching from, I love to know that information. And if you're new to our page, welcome. This is what we do here at Harbor Wild Watch. We're a nonprofit organization that inspires stewardship of the Salish Sea, which is this beautiful body of water here. And we just kind of talk to people about what there is to see and what's cool about it. We're in Tacoma, Washington. This is the site of an old lumber mill. So logs were hauled here and then cut and sawed and transported all over the world. I lose service. Apologies for that. I will do better about not sticking my phone in crevices, because that's when I lose service. But you can see there's a nice beautiful purple colored ochre star. They come in both purple and like a tan, which is where their name ochre star comes from. And the Puget Sound in these protected waters tends to favor the purple ones for whatever reason, but out on the coast they are both purple and tan, almost like an orange. And every once in a while you'll find one that is both kind of beautifully mixed between the two. Oh, there's a couple of anemones in here. Aggregating anemone right here. And if I touch it, it will pucker and kind of close up to protect itself. If I had really thin skin on my fingertips, that would hurt me. And I would learn a lesson about not touching anemones, but the skin on my fingers is too thick for their stinging cells to penetrate, so I'm just fine. Didn't hurt at all. Wow, this is a really fascinating section of beach. There's just all this human debris that has become habitat for different organisms. So I'd imagine underneath a lot of these brick and concrete remnants, there is lots of shore crabs and things like that. And so I've got another beach walk tomorrow at Thea's Park, and Friday I'll be at Thea's Park too, and then Saturday we're going to be out at Chinese Reconciliation Park, just a little bit down the road. All very urban environments, but it just goes to show you that wherever nature can infiltrate, it will take over. So we've got still lots and lots of life here, despite all the kind of trash and debris that's here. It's a very stinky beach. I will warn you of that because of the sediment that's here. There is a lot of anaerobic bacteria, which is just smells like low tide. Most of our beaches are not too smelly, but this one is for sure. And what's kind of interesting about the Puyallup River watershed is it is where Tacoma is located, so that the Puyallup River, you can kind of see the big industry back there. That's the Port of Tacoma, and that is where only about 5% of the natural path that the river takes is left. Everything else has been changed and kind of coordinated to suit us humans and our industrialization of this place. And so, oh, there's that eagle. I hear it. I want to see it. All right, well, we'll keep our eyes peeled for the eagle. I forgot what I was saying. That's that ADHD brain of mine. Eagle. Yeah, it's super low. Normally we don't get this part of the beach exposed quite so much. Look, we can already see there's a couple animals taking advantage of the low tide. Let's go see what our crow friend is looking at. Woo. Try not to fall. I'm actually going to turn this piece of concrete because I believe that I can easily give it a flip without harming any animals. It's always hard for me to turn rocks when I only have one hand. This one looks possible. We've got a red rock crab and a couple of shore crabs. I don't know what that thing is. Another crab moving around in there. There's an anemone on the rock as well. And then we're gonna carefully set this down without crushing anything. Oh, here's another pair of hermit crabs. I would guess the larger one is a male because he's holding onto the shell of the female there. Again, waiting for her to molt so that they can mate. That's how most crabs reproduce, is they have to wait until the female's in their soft-shelled state. There's a few crab species. In particular, I'm thinking of the northern kelp crab, which they can reproduce all year round without the females having to molt, but for most crabs, that's what they do. So spring and summer is kind of the time where we'll see crabs. Oh, hey there, crow. Oh, hey there, lots of crows. Hi, friends. You guys finding good lunch? I hate to bother you, but you're just gonna fly right back as soon as I walk through. I might even stir something up for you. That's interesting. Again, more snails. The frilled dogwinkle snail. You can see the... Oh, Porculain, careful. Doing some surfing? What you find? Something? Oh yeah, another cucumber. Again, one that's been kind of sheltered in, and you can see the tan line on it. A couple of shore crabs as well. So this is a filter feeding animal, and it'll reach out its tentacles into the water when the tide comes up and grab like mouthfuls of plankton. Oh, there's a chitin on the rock too, right here. This little guy. I imagine there's tons of life up underneath all these rocks. Good nice, hard, permanent habitat for a lot of these creatures. It's kind of fun to watch the crows forage. Where do you find them? Oh, here we got, it's either a dead crab or a molt, and I'm gonna guess dead crab because I see some of the dark anaerobic bacteria growing on its joints, which means it's dead and stinky. So I'm not gonna touch it because I don't want to be stinky. Oh, but here's a red rock crab. This animal will get much, much larger, up to about 10 inches across. Oh, there's another one. So the juveniles really like to kind of shelter in the intertidal zone. The biggest risk is things like birds, but if they stay underneath a large enough rock. Hey, seagull. Ornithologists or birders hate when you just call it something a seagull. But there are 13 species of gulls that are found here, and they're really hard to identify from a distance. You really need to see the details of what color their feet are, what color their beaks are. They have black tips on their wings, they have white tips on their wings, and then the juveniles all kind of look alike, so it can be tricky. It's really windy today. There's a wind advisory. We actually are having like a May storm, which doesn't surprise me. It feels like winter is trying to exact its revenge and keeps coming back into the room saying, and another thing, and storming out again. It had been the third coldest May on record. Normally by now I have a suntan just like that little sea cucumber, but not today. It's a full layer day. Oh, you found a red rock crab. Look at you. You're just gonna munch on that. Look at all this stuff. Ooh, okay, this is kind of cool. I can see that there's barnacles on the underside of this, but they're kind of stained red. I got excited because I thought it was a different kind of animal, but no, it's just rust-colored barnacles. Oh, a wallet. Doesn't look like there's any money left. Pockets full of sand. Maybe some sand dollars. Yeah, look at all the bricks left behind from the old building that was here, the sawmill. They've become habitat. There's all kinds of things living on these bricks and things. All right, let's walk out a little bit and see what we can see. This would have been a dock here. There was a good amount of boat traffic and ferry services to places like Tacoma. Apologies for that wind noise. It is blustery out here. But yeah, you can tell that we're down towards the lower end of the tide because we have these kelp sections. Ah, thank you for the gifts. You are lovely. Oh, your eye is sunken in this water. It's all like wood debris here. I thought it was firm sand. It is not. So it's just very nearly sunk in. We will be doing in-person beach walks. I'm not surprised that nobody showed up today because it was absolutely just downpour and crazy wind earlier today, and only my friend Casey showed up. But we are going to be doing in-person beach walks from now through Saturday all along the shoreline here, and we don't know what we're going to find. It's great low tides. All this fresh water. So this fresh water is untreated storm water. So all the rain that fell earlier last night and today lands on the land and then flows through ditches and pipes and storm drains and ends up here, which is one really important reason why we need to be conscious of the ways that we can negatively affect this habitat, even if we don't live right near the water. So things like dog poop and fertilizer and various chemicals that we use in our households can end up here very, very easily. It goes right out into the bay, and then this beautiful body of water goes south down to Olympia, all the way north past the Canadian border and up into the Straits of Juan de Fuca and the Straits of Georgia. It is cold here. The water temperature of the bay is about 55 degrees in summer, 45 in winter, and I think it's about 52 degrees Fahrenheit temperature-wise here. Wow, there's so much wood and bark wash up here. This is kind of interesting. I was not expecting this. I would have assumed there was a lot more flushing here, but this must mean this is a fairly protected habitat, which is kind of cool. Let's go check out this brickyard over here. It's all the bricks from the old sawmill. You can see the dark patches of sand. That is stinky low tide. This looks like just prime crab habitat. There's all these little bricks that they can hide underneath, lots of empty space beneath them. Shelter from predators until they get eaten, like this one here. Yeah, what a cool, thanks for exploring this habitat with me. I think I should probably wrap it up now and focus on other things. You can look for a video showing off this beach. Fun social media game. Alright, and my service keeps cutting out, which is going to make for a really choppy and terrible video. So, sorry friends, I will try to get this up on YouTube soon. But until tomorrow, go learn, go have fun, and we'll see you again soon.